Well, ladies, I am excited to have Jordan in studio today. We are continuing in our series that's called Life Verses for Women. And so Jordan has brought her verse that has meant something to her life. So Jordan, why don't you share that with us?
So my verse is Mark 9:24, and it's the Father cried out, I do believe, help me overcome my unbelief.
Ooh. Okay, so let's set this up for a minute as we've done in all of our other videos. Why don't you just give us some background to where this verse is found, and then of course who's saying this and why they're saying it.
Yeah, so it's found in the book of Mark,
Okay.
one of the four Gospels at the beginning of the New Testament. So something interesting about this book is that the author is officially unknown.
Which I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't either. I asked my husband, who's in seminary, and he's the one that told me.
We're going with that then.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So it is speculated to be John Mark,
Okay.
which is why it's called the Book of Mark.
Okay.
And so he traveled around and interpreted for Peter.
Okay.
And also traveled with Paul, the Apostle Paul and Apostle Peter.
So the big dogs.
Yeah. I mean, he's up there.
Yeah, he's up there.
And he's mentioned in the New Testament.
That's right.
And everything. So, but not very much.
Okay.
But it is an interesting book because it has, out of the four Gospels, it has the most miracles recorded, which I thought was really cool.
Very cool, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's one of the Gospels. And so tell us a little bit about the story then that potentially John Mark is writing about. Who is this person that spoke those words?
Yeah. So this miracle is only found in this gospel. It's not found in the other three.
Okay.
And so the story goes that this father has a boy who's possessed by a demon, and he brings his son to the apostles and he says, hey, can you
Heal
rebuke
him?
this demon and get him to leave?
Okay.
Because the disciples had been performing these miracles.
Okay.
So he brings the boy to them and they can't get the demon to leave. And so what he does, he comes before Jesus and he says, hey, your disciples couldn't get this demon to leave. Could you help me if you can?
Okay.
Which I think is really interesting.
Yes, very.
That he says that. And so it kind of sets up this verse really because the man is saying, if you can, because he had been disappointed once already by the disciples.
Right.
Yeah, so Jesus kind of responds, what do you mean?
Can
if
I?
can?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And he says, anything's possible if you believe. And that's when the father says, well, I do, but can you help me, in my unbelief and
Wow.
everything? So
Okay,
it's
so
really,
this
really
is good
cool.
because this is good for all of us. We all have situations in our life where I'm sure we're not perfect at trusting God all the time, or that our faith is strong in times of desperation. For this dad, desperate for their child to not be possessed by a demon, I can't even imagine what that would be like. Okay, so Jordan, for you, why does this verse stand out to you? What has it spoken to you? Share with us your insights.
Yeah, so what I love is that the father expresses his doubt to Jesus.
Yes.
And instead of saying, well, you didn't believe, sorry, your son's going to be demon possessed for the rest of his life, Jesus actually heals the boy right after that. And so I think that's really cool because sometimes in my relationship with God, I view it as, okay, I need to be perfect. I need to be pursuing you perfectly, and I need to be reading my Bible, and if I ever mess up, wow, Jesus is just going to
forget about
smite me. Yeah, and so I recently had a baby girl, which is awesome.
Yes.
But it changes your life,
Yes, it
as
does.
you know. And so I was a little naive in how it would change my life. And nothing really went the way I thought it would in her first couple months of life. And it was really, really hard. And the emotions were really hard.
Yes.
And so I definitely felt my faith waver because she had some health issues. And I thought, why is this happening, God, and everything? And I kept asking him to heal and to figure this out. And it wasn't being answered. And so I kind of just was like, well, I must not be praying well enough, or I must not be reading the Bible well enough, when that's not it. And when I brought my imperfect faith before Jesus, he responded, and he's helped a lot, and it just kind of took a little bit different perspective to see it, and my husband helped in that.
That's good.
Yeah, but it was hard.
So that's interesting, Jordan, because I know you personally, and so I can see that in your personality, that you're a kind of a perfectionistic person, you're a high capacity person. I think a lot of women, we all relate to that. We think, I am a fully capable person, I can handle motherhood, I can handle whatever these things are that come along in life. And then when things happen that kind of rock us, or we don't feel prepared for, or it doesn't go according to our plan or our timing, it can throw us off, not only questioning ourselves, but also then questioning God. And so what I
Yes.
hear from you is it was kind of a, you know what, this isn't about God withholding joy of parenthood,
Yeah.
or this is about me adjusting the way I was seeing this and really coming to God saying, help me to understand what you're teaching me through this situation.
Exactly. Yeah, we're never going to have perfect faith.
No.
You know, and so once, it's hard for me to remember that.
Yes.
But once I did, it was easier for me to come before God with my doubts and say, hey, you know, I'm really having a hard time seeing you in this situation. Can you help me? And he totally responds.
Can you share one way that you feel like God showed himself to you once you opened your heart to that?
Yeah, so it's a little insight into my daughter. So she has some allergies or intolerances, and, you know, she's breastfed.
Okay.
And so God kind of said, you know, hey, you should really talk with people about this, get help. Basically, he was like,
Reach
help.
out for help.
Yeah, because I kept trying to figure it out myself,
Okay.
and, you know, I'm a Google person.
Yes.
So I was like, I can do this. We can breastfeed. Like, we can do this. And it just wasn't working. And, you know, God kind of spoke through my husband and was like, hey, you should get some help
Get
with
some
this, you know.
mentoring in this regard.
Yes. And even like health.
Yes.
You know, like from the pediatrician and, and everything. And so once we did that, things got a lot better.
Good.
To be honest, you know, we were able to identify some things,
Yes.
which meant some hard life changes, but I felt like God was saying, you know, here I am, I provided this help for you.
Right.
I just needed you to want it,
Right.
basically.
Good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Jordan, thank you so much for sharing that verse. I think that's a great, I mean, it's a short little verse and you might kind of pass right over that, but I think the point is that all of us, first of all, that the Father was able to say to Jesus himself, help me in my unbelief, right? Like you said, we want to come to God and think that we have to be perfect. We don't. And it's okay to come to God and to say, I'm struggling, or I don't feel like you're here, or help me to understand where you are in this.
Yeah.
But the point is to continue to pursue God and to say, help me in my unbelief. Help me to understand things from your point of view.
Yep.
Well, thank you for that. And ladies, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Make sure you use those questions below. Talk about this with a mentor or small group, and let's grow and learn from these verses together. We'll see you in the next video.